Hello and welcome to all. For some time now, we've been witnessing an incredible star system phenomenon in the TikTok style and the emergence of new online celebrities. Bella Poarch is part of the new generation of influencers who started from nothing and who acquired fame and fortune thanks to the Chinese social network. Today, the 24-year-old beauty is already the fourth most followed account on TikTok, with its 79.2 million subscribers and its 1.8 billion likes. The meteoric rise of this beautiful woman could serve as inspiration for most young influencers, but it should be noted that Bella Poarch had a life full of hardships before reaching the top. Between her traumatic childhood and countless family abuses, as well as the unspeakable racism she suffered, a young and pretty American Filipina does not keep only good memories of her torturous past. So make yourself comfortable, because today we are going to discover the sad truth about the new bubbly star of TikTok, the beautiful Bella Poarch. Let's get started. For the aficionados of the Chinese social network TikTok, Bella Poarch is a very familiar name, since the face of the young woman scrolls all day long on their smartphones. And how could it be otherwise when the young American Filipina already has more than 79 million followers on her official account, placing herself as the fourth most followed account on TikTok. Her videos are so popular that they have already collected more than 1.8 billion likes, and her popularity has been skyrocketing for over a year now. In the midst of the global COVID-19 pandemic and containment restrictions, the young and beautiful Bella has managed not only to break through, but actually make a name for herself at the top of the charts. While other world-famous artists are struggling to make ends meet, the meteoric rise of the young influencer is enough to make people jealous. And, of course, her success will not only bring her friends, but those who really know the young woman know how much this success can be deserved, because her childhood was not a long, quiet river. Far from it. So we invite you to go back with us in our good old time machine to go back to the sources where this beautiful story began. Here we are in 1997. A very nice year for the nostalgic ones, since we finished in enthusiasm and the general jubilation the preparations of the World Cup in 1998, and which would take place for the second time in history in France. However, far from the joyful tumult of Paris and the festive hubbub of Marseille, at the other end of the world, in the Philippines, the atmosphere was much more gloomy. We are in the sordid slum, as there are hundreds, even thousands in Manila and its regions. Some places are real open-air dumps, with tons of garbage and garbage littering every square inch of the ground. Rats bigger than cats around, sometimes even attacking small children who are often left unprotected and unattended. The zinc and rotten wood slums seem, for the most part, on the verge of collapsing on their poor, ragged inhabitants. It is thus in the middle of this bewildering spectacle of the most total and abject poverty that the little Taylor Neri is born, the one who will later become Bella Poarch. When she was only a few days old, her miserable fate was already mapped out, and her parents were convinced that this little bundle of joy had no hope of escaping the slums one day. So they finally decided to leave her in the care of her grandmother, who was already taking care of her older brother, who was barely older than her. The young girl will thus grow up with her grandmother and her brother in the middle of garbage and open sewers, and an extremely violent environment where blood crimes are commonplace. But at the age of 3, and thanks to some more or less well-intentioned matchmakers, the grandmother ends up finding a rich couple ready to adopt the children, and especially ready to pay the right price. It is thus for cash that the young couple will buy the adoption rights of the young girl, thus taking her out of the extreme indignance to which she was condemned. But as you will see, the poor little Bella Poarch had only changed one hell for another, for the couple who had adopted her were not really what one would call a caring or loving parents. Her adopted father was a former American soldier, and her adoptive mother was a young Filipina. They had met in Saudi Arabia, where the American was stationed, and decided to move to the Philippines as soon as his military service ended. The couple had already adopted 2 Filipino girls who were much older than Bella. Very quickly, the young girl felt uncomfortable in this new family, and despite the incredible difference in the standard of living between her old slum and her new luxury villa in the upscale neighborhoods of the Philippines, her childhood was not to be made any rosier. Bella Roach had quickly become the sufferer of her parents, and of her father in particular, an Army veteran, very angry and unpleasant, who never missed a chance to belittle or humiliate his adopted daughter. The former soldier did not hesitate to have his daughter whipped, giving her real beatings that even an adult could not have endured. And while the cute little girl suffers the martyrdom, her 2 older sisters are treated in a much better way and benefit from love and attention from the parents. The little Bella Poarch will grow up in their deleterious atmosphere, in a house where she is more of an all-purpose maid than an adopted daughter. When she was 13 years old, the family moved to the United States and ended up settling in the state of Texas, mainly because of the medical problems of her adopted father. Her adopted father had to undergo bypass surgery, and it was at this point that Bella's life became a little more bearable. Because of his physical weakness due to his heart disease, the adopted father and former Army veteran no longer had enough strength to hit his young daughter. Bella still had to endure her father's psychological torture and verbal abuse, but at least she no longer had to fear his blows. Unfortunately, the young teenager will also have to endure the vile racism that is still so alarmingly rampant in the United States, and which is very often directed primarily at blacks and Asians. The young girl, who did not hide her Filipino origins, had a lot of problems to be accepted by her schoolmates, who called her Ling Ling and who made fun of her Filipino food she brought with her for lunch at the canteen. Some of them even went so far as to heckle her physically, and the young girl was even assaulted very violently one day when she was coming home. The young Bella will suffer from unspeakable racism, from which she will keep forever the traces of the strong emotional trauma characterized by a heavy depression and anxiety attacks. But at the age of 18, her life would finally take the right turn, the one that would emancipate her and allow her to find freedom and joy. When she came of age, she was able to join the United States Army, following in the footsteps of her older brother, who had become a soldier in the Navy after high school. She joined the U.S. Navy and found a new home, one that was much warmer and more loving than anything she had ever experienced before. Not only did the Navy allow her to become independent and to travel the world, but it also gave her the brotherly and caring atmosphere that she had always been deprived of during her sad childhood. And in spite of the hardness of the tasks that fall to the soldier, especially when she is less than 1.6 meters and weighs less than 50 kilograms, the Filipina beauty had to struggle to hold or carry a machine gun, which was much heavier than she was. However, Bella Poarch spent 4 years in the Marines, and according to her, it was perhaps the best 4 years of her life. During her service, the beautiful young Filipina was stationed in Japan, a country she literally fell in love with, which motivated one of her most controversial tattoos. But she will also have the privilege to be installed in the U.S. Navy base in Hawaii, in the middle of a paradisiacal landscape. But as all good stories have an end, Bella Poarch ends up leaving the Army in 2019. Then, with the coming of the confinement related to the pandemic of COVID-19 in 2020, she decides to take a sabbatical year. It was during this year that the beautiful little Filipina would create her TikTok account, the same one that would propel her to fame and fortune, and that would resolutely change her existence forever. Because before this date, the cute little Bella Poarch didn't even know the existence of this social media, and it's only thanks to her friends that she could discover it. Incited by her friends, Bella started to post some little videos on TikTok, just for fun and to pass the time. Together with Paca, her little stuffed alpaca, she produces content based on her two hobbies, cosplay and the world of video games on consoles. The success may not have been instantaneous, but it seems that it was not going to be long before. Indeed, hardly 4 months after the creation of her account, Bella Poarch hit the jackpot with a video that is, to say at least, anodyne. The young girl indeed films her face in a close-up while lip-syncing on the track Sophie Aspen Send of the British rapper Millie B. Bella Poarch is going to multiply the cute little kawaii faces in this short video, so much so that one would believe the beautiful little Filipina is straight out of Japanese or Korean anime. The success is then immediately at the rendezvous, and the video records millions of views and mentions like. Bella Poarch then becomes in a few days only the most famous face on the platform by publishing the most watched TikTok video of all time, with more than 635 million views. Even the song Sophie Aspen Send that she used in her video will see its popularity explode, while it was only an obscure track lost in the meanders of Deezer or Spotify. The rhythmic music of the British rapper Millie B thus becomes an almost worldwide phenomenon and is reused in more than 5.8 million videos on TikTok. The account of Bella Poarch explodes with new subscribers, and her other videos also collect millions of views. Very quickly, the beautiful Filipina became the new queen of Chinese social media, with all the benefits and privileges that go with this prestigious title. But instead of sinking into monotony by offering only lip-syncing videos, Bella Poarch innovates her subscribers and makes them enjoy her singing and musical talents. Adept of the ukulele, since her years of service in Hawaii and in the Pacific, the beautiful Filipina takes with sweetness songs of the moment and lulls her subscribers with her sweet melodies. Aware of her great power of attraction and her talent for music, the young woman even launched herself in the song and music industry. She then launched her first music video on YouTube, Build a Beach, which has already garnered over 283 million views so far. A huge success, especially since the video has been online for only 3 months, which implies that it will have even more views in a few months. There is no doubt that the sublime little Filipina is destined to a great, glorious future after having endured so much physical and moral suffering during her childhood. The beautiful little flower of the islands can now blossom like never before and enjoy the sweet rays of the sun and the fame. And that's it for today. What do you think about the sad childhood of the sublime Bella Poarch and the torments she had to go through before hitting the jackpot on TikTok? And do you really think that the beautiful Filipina would continue her meteoric rise to become the new undisputed queen of TikTok? Tell us in the comments. And if you like this video, don't forget to put a like and subscribe and activate the notifications. See you soon for new discoveries out of the ordinary.